When you think of America, a few things come to mind. Things like the national anthem, the Stars and Stripes, Mountain Dew,
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew,
apple pie, and of course, Chevrolet. Founded on a brisk November day in 1911, the Chevrolet Motor Company sold their first cars for a whopping $2,150. A lot has changed since then, but one thing still remains the same. Chevy continues to be a backbone of the automotive industry, specifically in the pickup truck market. But there's one Chevy truck that continues to have a following unparalleled only by the 12-valve Cummins. This heavy hitter was built in the mid to late 2000s and continues to be a benchmark of trucks today. I'm Dustin with Custom Offsets. You can find me at dusty.co on the old Instagram. And today we're going to be cycling the glow plugs, replacing the plastic outer door handles, and high idling right along to find out just what's the hype with the LBZ Duramax. Woo! Whether you drive an LBZ or any other truck for that matter, if you need wheels, tires, and suspension for your truck, you can find all of that at customoffsets.com. Also, if you want to win free TIS wheels, Toyo tires, a BDS lift kit, some rock lighting from Black Label Lighting, and a Road Armor Spartan Series from Bumper, plus help us make a donation to a Giving Heart Foundation, you can do so at customoffsets.com/giveaway. But you're going to want to hurry. This giveaway ends on January 21st. We've got these super dope t-shirts, we've got hoodies to match, and we've already raised over $3,000, which is pretty awesome, and we're super thankful for all your support. All right, let's get into it. Before we talk about the LBZ, we have to dial it back a bit. In the mid to late 90s, companies like Ford and Dodge were absolutely killing the diesel game. The 7.3 Power Stroke and the Cummins engine equally dominated GM's lesser 6.5 liter indirect injection or IDI trucks. The 6.5 was plagued with problems, and GM knew that they needed to step up their game if they wanted to be a player in the 3/4 and 1-ton market. In 2003, GM did just that. Partnering with Japanese engine manufacturer Isuzu, GM introduced the 6.6 liter Duramax. Engine coated the LB7, this new diesel engine brought with it a whole host of new features, including the first all aluminum cylinder heads on the market, and also introduced common rail injection technology. Need something, Parker?
What's common rail injection technology?
It's where the fuel injector is in the same science, math. This allowed the new 6.6 liter monster to produce its power in a much cleaner and quieter manner than the competition did, which solidified its position in the market. Many LB7 owners raved about their fuel efficiency, with some owners reporting upwards of 22 miles per gallon, which was an absolutely unheard of number at the time. But it wasn't all fun and games for the LB7. For pioneering the common rail injection technology came at a price. The LB7 was notorious for both leaky and cracked injectors. This wouldn't have been such a big deal, but in an effort to save some space in the engine bay, the LB7 actually tucked the injectors behind the valve covers, making it a pretty labor-intensive and expensive process if they should fail. The LB7 would remain in production for just 18 short months. Midway through model year 2004, GM released the second generation Duramax, the LLY. Now, the LLY was the same guts as the LB7, but offered an improved injector design, a variable geometry turbo, or VGT, and cleaner yet emissions. Oosh.
Better out than in, I always say.
This also came with a small horsepower bump, mostly due to the VGT giving more flexibility to the boost curve. While the LLY solved a lot of the issues that the LB7 had, it still had its own fair share of problems. The LLY was prone to overheating issues, oftentimes attributing to higher operating temperatures and sometimes even going so far as to blow head gaskets. This was mostly due to GM offering these trucks with the
smallest radiator ever offered in the front of a Duramax.
So GM was like, okay, so this injector thing, we gotta do something about that. All right, perfect, we'll move the injectors, whatever, everything's good. But let's save some money and toss a smaller radiator. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Yikes. On the plus side, the LLY was offered with the
largest of the turbos in the Cat Eye Duramax trucks,
meaning that it played directly into the hands of those of you looking to chase high horsepower. While this is awesome for those guys chasing horsepower numbers, it also contributes to the head gasket issues we mentioned before. I definitely don't want to drag the LOI through the mud though. For the time, it was a pretty fantastic engine, and there are many of them still on the market today. I mean, D-Max Rhino has probably the most beautiful LOI that I've ever seen, and it's been a huge inspiration to me for a long time. There are definitely plenty of these trucks out there today, and they still run and drive well, even in 2020. All right, now that we got that history lesson out of the way, let's talk about what we actually came here to talk about. The beloved, the hype, and the ever popular LBZ Duramax. Cannons, confettis, birthday cake, whatever you do. Too far? Whatever. By the time the LBZ came to light, the injector problems of the LB7 were long gone, and the overheating issues of the LOI were also solved. Introduced in 2006, the LBZ offered a much stronger engine block than its younger counterpart. Additionally, this new LBZ had stronger connecting rods, more pressure in the common rail fuel system, and an all-new and improved engine control module, or ECM, that made arguably the most powerful, drivable, and tunable Duramax to date. Right off the line, the LBZ made a whopping 360 horsepower and a staggering 650 foot-pounds of torque, which was 35 more ponies and 40 more foot-pounds than the next competitor in line at the time. Plus, for the first time ever, the LBZ was mated to a 6-speed Allison transmission compared to the 5 speeds of the previous engines, meaning that the driver had a wider selection of gears to keep them in the torque curve longer. With all that being said though, the LBZ still had its fair share of struggles, as all trucks do. The LBZ had much stronger connecting rods than its predecessors, but its Achilles heel was the actual pistons themselves. See, the wrist pin, or the pin that connects the piston to the rod, was a known failure point on these trucks north of 500 horsepower. Still, with that being said, the LBZ solved many of the issues that the previous Duramax engines had and did it really well. So with that being said, what is the hype with the LBZ Duramax? Well, for starters, the LBZ comes in one of the most desirable body styles that GM ever made, like ever, the Cat-Eye Silverado. This sharp, aggressively styled truck is nearly timeless in design, and in my opinion, still looks great even 14 years later. This, coupled with the fact that GM only made the LBZ for 2 years before discontinuing them, means that production was relatively limited, driving even more demand for them. But the real threat that the LBZ brings to the table is simple. It offered a nearly perfect combination of styling, performance, reliability, and was the last Duramax to be built before modern day emission. I fondly remember being a wee lad when the first LBZ hit the road in 2006, and I've been a huge fan of them since that day. So much, in fact, that I bought one. Behind me is my new to me 2007 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD Classic, the crew cab short box with none other than the 6.6 liter LBZ Duramax V8. And I couldn't be more excited to share it with all you guys as we begin the build series on one of my all-time dream trucks. What do you guys think of the LBZ? Do you have one? Let us know down in the comment section below, and as always, make sure you smash that like button, share this video with a friend if you would, and subscribe to the channel so you can keep enjoying the awesome content that you've come to love from us. We'll see you on the next one.